Thank you, President Trump, for keeping your promise to give Israel the tools it needs to defend itself.
Don't you just want to know what's going on here? Wouldn't it be fun to ask a few questions? I'm sorry, but what the hell is going on? What does this have to do with Make America Great Again? This guy, Bibi, he's on offense. Okay? He's not on defense. He's preparing the way, by the way, according to some prominent rabbis. It's Bibi who's preparing the way for the Messiah.
40 years ago, when Netanyahu was Israel's ambassador to the United Nations, he met Menachem Mendel Schneerson, the leader of the Chabad Lubavitch movement, known simply as the Rebbe. The Rebbe reportedly believed Netanyahu had a mission from God to prepare Israel for the coming of the Messiah, or in Hebrew, the Moshiach. Over the next decade, the two men developed a close relationship.
So as Christianity worldwide comes under massive attack, the most persecuted group, Christians, most persecuted group in the world, dying all over the place, right? Do you think it's a little strange that all of a sudden Israel's rising up out of the sea? Is that kind of strange at this particular time? And I know, again, what the critics of this show are going to say, because you basically had the same talking points ever since October 7th of 2023. So your last one is biblical. Your last one is, well, yeah, but I mean, these guys are God's chosen people, okay? The Holy Land was promised to them by God. Read your Genesis, man. I hear this from traditional Catholics who actually say this. That's the extent to which we have now lost our Catholic identity.
The whole rest of the world is saying, what is going on? Endless war in the Middle East. Well, this is because we're defending someone with some 7th century BC vision of what they want their country to be.
Are you serious? Because there's one little problem with this. According to Orthodox Jews on the ground, Zionists do not believe in the Torah. Zionists do not believe even in God.
The founder of Zionists, his name was Theodore Hertzl from Vienna, Austria. He don't believe in God. He don't believe in nothing. The Judaism is completely a religious movement, have nothing to do with any nationality, with any materialistic things. The Zionists often waving the flag of the promised land, the promised land. You say God promised land, you said the Torah. You don't believe in the Torah, you don't believe in God, you don't eat kosher. How can he be such a strong hypocrite to take out of the Torah something what is for his benefit in ignoring all the other parts? It's written in the 10 Commandments, don't kill, don't steal. The Zionists ignoring everything about the Jewish belief. In the Jewish belief, the state of Israel will come to an end 100%.
So if I agree with that fellow, am I an anti-Semite still? So I'm sorry, Ambassador Mike Huckabee, but Christian Zionism is a ridiculous heresy. It's actually older than Jewish Zionism, and yet the Christian Zionists, basing themselves on this ridiculous Schofield Bible and all the heresies contained therein, the Christian Zionists are the ones who are dominating the Trump administration right now.
There is no such thing as a West Bank. It's Judea and Samaria. There's no such thing as a settlement. They're communities, they're neighborhoods, they're cities. There's no such thing as an occupation.
This is the man President Trump has nominated as the US ambassador to Israel. Evangelical Christian Mike Huckabee is a staunch supporter of Israel and Zionism. He has suggested that Palestinians could relocate to other countries, implying that there's plenty of land for them in nations such as Jordan, Egypt, and Syria. But according to Trump, this is the man who will bring peace to the Middle East.
So, do you still think that Trump was just flooding the zone? No, I think he's dead serious. This has been the plan from the start. This is what the Christian Zionists are coming to Trump, and they are now demanding they get paid back for the support and the money that they gave Trump to win the White House, right? They're dead serious. Mike Huckabee just laid it right out. Get him out of there. Put him in Egypt. Put him in the same countries even that Trump was talking about at the press conference with Bibi a couple days ago. And according to Mike Huckabee, it's anti-Semitic to question any of this.
And I think that Gaza is scheduled for extinction. So is the so-called West Bank. All you have to do is listen to these people. There's no news there. The Pegasus revelation is disturbing, but not surprising, given the people currently interested in going after anyone, anywhere in the world who is construed as an anti-Semite. And of course, that term is used effectively against anybody that doesn't want to unconditionally support Israel.
And yet, again, you critics of this show are going to say, well, God's chosen people. This is all good. This is all conservative. Where's my elephant lapel sticker? I got to get my Sacred Heart off here and get an elephant down there because this is God's holy will, And for those people, I'm sorry to say, they just will buy anything. Pius XII was responsible for the Holocaust too, right? Jeffrey Epstein killed himself. COVID came from bats. And Pope St. Pius X, well, he was an anti-Semite, the greatest pope of the 20th century, a canonized saint, Pope Pius X. Well, he had to be an anti-Semite, right? Because back on January 26, 1904, Theodore Hertzl, who's the father of Zionism, we just talked about him, doesn't believe in God, according to Orthodox Jews.
The founder of Zionists, his name was Theodore Hertzl from Vienna, Austria. He don't believe in God. He don't believe in nothing.
Anyway, he's the father of Zionism. Now, he was granted an audience with Pope St. Pius X back in 1906 in the Vatican. So the Pope was obviously open to conversations and dialogue with this guy early on, right? And Hertzl goes and he asks the Pope, we've covered this a little bit, but I think it's really important to kind of flesh it out a little more. Theodore Hertzl goes to the Pope, to Pius X, and he begs support. He asks support for the Zionist vision, the Zionist dream to establish a Jewish state in Palestine. Now, according to Herzl's own published diary, the account of this meeting, Pope St. Pius X responds to him. He says, as I am the head of the Catholic Church, I cannot do this. The Jewish religion, this is the important part. St. Pius X says the Jewish religion was the foundation of our Catholic religion, our Christian religion, but it was superseded by the teachings of Jesus Christ, and we cannot concede any further validity to it. You see? That's what a Catholic believes, old law versus new law. The veil of the temple was rent, was ripped in half, right? When the old law was fulfilled, the old covenant was abolished. This is the issue here. But Theodore Hertzl, standing in front of Pope Pius X, he persists. He says, does your holiness know the situation of the Jews? Pius replies, yes, from my Mantua days. Jews live there, and I have always been on good terms with Jews. After all, there are other bonds than those of religion, courtesy, philanthropy, for example. These we do not deny to the Jews. And if you come to Palestine and settle your people there, says Pope St. Pius X, we shall have churches and priests ready to baptize all of you. You see, that's how lovingly the church, the pre-conciliar church, used to speak to those who were not Christian, who were not Catholic. Pope Pius X, Saint Pius X, he so loved the Jews that he spoke clearly to them. That's what we don't have today, right? You got subterfuge, you got ecumenical BS dialogue. Nobody knows what the heck the church stands for. In those days, everyone knew. Theodore Herzl is not, if you read his diary, he's not offended by Pius X. He expects this. He's the head of the Catholic Church. Of course he believes this, right? And Pius is speaking man to this Zionist Jewish man, and he tells him the truth. And then he welcomes all the Jews with open arms into his own church. Right? You wouldn't do that if you had an immoral hatred, blood hatred of Jews. No, he says you can come into the church anytime. We'll baptize all of you. You're more than welcome. In fact, Eugenio Zoli, the rabbi of Rome during World War II, changed his name to Eugenio. He becomes a Christian, becomes a convert. You know this story because of the example set by Pope Pius XII, the successor of Pope Pius X by two, Pope Pius XII. was such an exemplary Christian that the rabbi during World War II converts. It's a story we're not supposed to tell anybody, though, because it kind of disrupts the narrative, doesn't it? So Pius X says, no, we cannot support the state of Israel in the land that Jesus himself made holy. It's already the Holy Land. It's the land where Jesus lived. So we can't support Israel. Just as, by the way, many Orthodox Jews today do not support Israel.
I think every time among Muslims, I never see any anti-Semitism at all. Just look, from the Jewish point of view, where is the most dangerous place for a Jew to live today? You go the whole world, if you come to one point, state of Israel.
The question of what will happen in this land and whether, not a theory of Zionism that I was brought up with, but the practice of the state of Israel, and the state ideology is called Zionism. And the reality there is a reality that is not enabling of an existence which is going to work, of course not for Palestinians, but also for Jews. And I feel now that this is coming apart. And therefore you see that some of the most vociferous, determined, angry voices in this period have been the voices of Jewish people saying, not in my name.
Seems like every week now, another Jewish voice speaks out in protest. This week, it's Wallace Shawn, the Jewish actor from, I guess, most well-known from The Princess Bride. And he took it up a notch. Here's what he says.
I mean, the Israelis invaded somebody else's territory. They took people's homes, and they did many of the things